Okay, I'm Kathy Fenholt from Kathy's Cakes LLC in Iowa, and I'm going to show you how to use the stress-free supports. We have the stress-free rings. The legs come in several different sizes. We've got 3, 3.5, and 4-inch legs here. You can measure approximately where you want your ring to go. I usually mark on the top of the cake where the legs will sit. This is just a regular sewing gauge that I use just for the stress freeze. You can push it in right to the height of the cake. Measure your legs, and with this one, the 4-inch legs will work. Screw the legs on to the stainless steel ring. To the height that your sewing gauge was set at. So you see that on the camera. I'll go ahead and screw these in and then I will check it. I love using the stress-free supports because I don't have to worry about cakes, the tiers tipping or leaning. They're very sturdy. Just get it measured here. And all you have to do is where your legs were marked, line up the support and push it down in. If you find that it's just not quite the right height, you can lift it right back out, readjust them, screw them in just a little bit more, check it with the sewing gauge, readjust it just a little bit. So all 4 legs are the exact same height. Put it back in. And then to make sure that nothing slides, if you're going to transport the cake already stacked, I like to take a piece of double stick tape on the top of the ring, put a piece of non-skid that's been cut to fit right there. Go ahead and pause it. Okay, now to place the next tier on the ring, I've got a knife in one hand, the tier in the other, and I'm just mainly holding the tier with my hand and using the knife to balance it. I'm going to center it on the cake, set one side down, take my hand out, holding it with the knife. Here, I'll get it so the camera can see what I'm doing. Holding it with the knife, then I can pull my hand out and then set it down on the ring and slide the knife out. You don't have to worry about anything tipping. With dowels, you could get one that tips and then your cake isn't very stable. Then you could just check, you can use your finger. Got the cake on a turntable and you can just kind of use your finger, any type of measurement, to just go around real quick. Check several spots on the cake and make sure you've got it centered. It's just a little bit off, so you can take your knife, slide it back under, get under your cake, and slide it just a little bit without worrying about it at all. Okay, and then we take the next ring. We've got a 4-inch ring here. I'm going to kind of mark where I want it to go. Mark the legs. This is another way you can use a straw to measure, and this is actually the way I prefer. I take it and just pinch it with my fingers gently on the surface of the fondant. I pinch the straw and then cut right at the bottom of my thumb there. That'll give me the height to measure the legs to see which ones fit. We're going to go with the 3.5-inch ones because the straw is just a little bit longer than the 3.5-inch leg. get those on. And one quick way, especially with the smaller rings, that you can get them on fast is just to spin them. You can also use an electric drill. Like after a wedding when you get a whole bunch of supports back and you want to take the legs off quick to clean them. Then you can hold this right up there. Screw it down to the height of the straw. They're very quick and easy to use. I usually stack my frost my cakes, get them covered with fondant and decorated as much as I can on Friday, and then Saturday morning before delivery I'll put the supports in. And then just in those marks that were made earlier. Now this sits right flush. You can feel the edge of the ring on the top of the fondant. If you want the no border look, go ahead and shorten the legs just a little bit more, usually one twist, and then use the sewing gauge to check and make sure they're all the same height. Get the sewing gauge to slide here. And then it'll actually sit down in flush with the fondant, so when you look down along the side you can't see that ring at all. It's just right level with the top of the fondant. Add a piece of double stick tape and a piece of non-skid. Take our top tier, and with the small top tiers the knife works really well. Just kind of balance it with your hand. With the non-skid, I had it on a board with non-skid, that's how I transport them. The non-skid off of there. Get the cake centered. Another thing you can do when using the knife is you can just, when you're setting up at like a wedding reception site, you can just hold the cake up with the knife, leave it underneath there. You can actually walk around to the side of the cake and make sure you've got it centered before you pull the knife out. There. Now all you have to do is add borders if you need them, and you've got a stacked cake.